Welcome to Fitness Profits, the podcast for fit pros everywhere. You're now part of a community of fit pros looking to make a bigger impact, generate a bigger income, and gain independence. Fitness facility owners, fitness business owners don't have the pleasure of health clubs or corporate engines to drive them, so we have to do things differently. Through this podcast, you're going to learn the latest strategies, tips, and techniques for growing a thriving fitness business on or offline in the modern day.
What's happening, people? Bud Breezy in the house today. It is November, I think it's the 8th. And today I've got a banging headache. But you know what? I made a commitment to do this podcast daily. I'm going to do it. I just got off the phone with a potential coaching student, and it's clear to me that this needs to be spread. This message, that is. And it's all about the achiever mindset. You know, those type A people who can't sit down, much like me, much like you, more like, when you feel like the pressure inside is just building, like you're on this treadmill that you can't get off, like you're constantly working and grinding, yet never really happy with where you're at. And it takes this situation of like people externally telling you, look, you should be happy. Look at all you've achieved and accomplished. Look at everything that's going on. You should be happy. And whilst you know that's logical, internally, it doesn't feel that way. There's just something missing. And the reality is that you're likely too busy, likely overworked, and likely at a situation where one of two things is going to burst, you or your business. I imagine that you've even had success. You might be making 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand a month. Get into a situation where people are like, hey, look at what you've done. Look what you've achieved. Look at what you've accomplished. But it is not enough for you. And I want to just address this, sidestep a second, cut script. I appreciate everything in my life. I have a part of my practice every single day. Reality is, it's very difficult to do that when you're in the midst of business and creation and growth. All you want to do is create this vision that you have inside of your mind and others don't understand. So when we have this achiever mindset, the problem is we look at the people around us, as the people that are in our sphere. Maybe it's members of staff, maybe it's a team, and you just don't get or understand why the fuck people aren't stepping up in their life. Or you're getting in this situation where you really want to push forward, but you just feel stuck and trapped. And here's where the critical mass is within this whole success achievement mindset portion, right? You get to this situation in your business where you make so much traction and momentum in the first few years, and growth is a constant and it's expected. Yet we get to this point where we seem to be working harder and harder and harder, yet our business stagnates. It stays the same. And what used to produce growth and results now simply maintains our business. So we still work as hard as we used to, but all that's happening is that we're staying where we are. Much like being on a treadmill, right? You can crank up the intensity and speed, but realistically, you're just staying in the same spot, right? And I want you to understand this. This is critical because, in fact, I'm going to tell you a story. When I walked up Ben Nevis with a few friends a few years ago, I've been walking for hours. Like, holy fuck, sweating, out of breath. My mates were lagging behind. They were way unfit. And we actually had bets on who was going to get to the top first and who would make it back down. And we were all laughing at my golf buddy like he's going to be screwed because he's dead lazy. But actually, because he's so used to walking on the golf course multiple times a week, he was actually, me and him, and the other two were lazy as shit and sitting down. Anyway, that aside, we were walking for like 2 hours, and we were just looking forward all of the time. Kept looking up the hill. Like, shit, look at you couldn't even see the top. The clouds were there. And then we took a moment. The lads were like, can we sit down a sec? Took a moment. We sat down. We turned around like, holy shit, look how high we are. And I could see everything for miles around us. But the mindset switch was like, shit, look at what we've already accomplished. Because we kept looking to the top and we could see the clouds and we couldn't see the top of the mountain. What we were actually thinking is like, wow, we got so much more to go, so much more distance to travel. Yet we didn't appreciate the work we'd already done. And that's what I want you to do in your life right now. If you feel like you're stuck in this achiever mindset where you have to keep pushing, you have to keep grinding, you can't get off that treadmill, because if you do get off that treadmill, everything will fall down around you. I want you to take a moment, take a day, and sit and just reflect at the progress you've already made. it's about being appreciative of where you're at, but not being stagnant, right? I think achievers generally, if we appreciate where we're at, we're like, fuck, that's such a waste of time of appreciating. I'm still not where I want to be. The reality is, it's about appreciating it, but not letting that deter you from growth. Because if you are a type A achiever, growth is important to you, impact is important to you, making progress is important to you, but it shouldn't come at the sacrifice of your sanity, your family, your love, your relationships, because that is what will happen. You'll tell people around you that I do this for my family, I do this for my kids. Reality is, your kids couldn't give a shit how much money you bring home. What they could give a shit about is how you bring yourself home. Do you show up fully present and engaged? Do you show up the very best version of you? And so it's very difficult, especially in fitness, right? I mean, this is relevant to anyone in business, but especially in fitness, the nature of our business is that you work early mornings, you work late evenings, and you can quite easily work from 6 a.m. right through till 7, 8 o'clock at night. You go home with a buzzing head, fuzzy, lacking presence. And then you're picking up WhatsApp messages, Facebook messages. And it feels like you're working 24/7. I can tell you there's a solution. When I got to the top of Ben Nevis, I could see the other side of the hill. And when we came back downhill, it was much easier than walking up. And that's what happens in business. You get to a point of revenue growth, and it feels like you're grinding and grinding and grinding. And then when you're able to break through that point, your time output decreases, but your income increases. The challenge is, though, if you get stuck on that treadmill too long, you or your business will break. You'll either burn out or you'll kill your business because you hate it. You do not hate your business. You just hate the stage of business you're in. If you didn't listen to the 5 stages of business growth, the fitness business growth, I want you to go back to that podcast and listen to it because it'll all make sense. You just hate the stage of business you're in. You've probably been stuck there too long. And the risk is that you get trapped there and quit before you break through. And so if you're in a situation right now where you need a breakthrough in your life and your business in every element, then something must change. But it's a risk, and it's also dangerous not to take a moment of appreciation. Appreciation is not contemplation. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not being content with where you're at, right? Appreciation is appreciating where you're at, but never being satisfied, right? Never settling for less than what you know you can achieve, but always appreciating every moment and staying present and enjoying the path, the journey. I know it's such super cliche, but so important. Remember, if you constantly chase growth and you're neglecting your family life, you're neglecting other areas of your life in pursuit of this growth, then you very might well lose the very most important thing to you in the pursuit of something in the grand scheme of things that isn't that important. So understand, business growth should happen, but it shouldn't happen at all costs. Your life, your personal life, your family life, your relationships should improve as your business grows. Don't be one of those people that says, when my business grows and I'm making this much per month, then I'll be able to do this. When my business grows and I'm making X amount per month, then I'll be able to do this. Or I promise, darling, when I'm making this much money, we'll be like this and we'll be living like this. We'll be able to go on these holidays, because it won't happen. Because you're a type A achiever mindset that will never be happy or settle for what you have. And that, my friend, is a dangerous place to live and a dangerous place to be. So take a moment, sit down, appreciate what is around you, the steps you've already taken, but never settle for anything less than you can achieve, and never be content at the place you're in. It doesn't mean that you lack it in appreciation. It means that you're aware of where you're at. You take stock of where you're at, but you're very clear on where you want to get to, and that you don't sacrifice everything else around you in a single pursuit of business growth. That is it, people. Your boy Breezy. That is the achiever mindset, and why it's dangerous for people like you and I if we don't take a daily practice to appreciate the shit in our lives. All right? Peace.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow along with other content pieces, videos, and live training over at superfitbusiness.com. If you'd love a bundle of gifts to build your business, go over to superfitbusiness.com/podcast right now and we'll ship you a business building kit right away. Don't forget, leave a review, subscribe to the podcast for future episodes, and share it with your fellow Fit Pros. And together, let's make the fitness industry a better place. Take care. Bye-bye.